baby. Ooh. Wait a minute, baby. Ooh.
Fellas, I wonder would you mind if I talk to you a minute?
Ooh, I hope y'all mind if I talk to y'all for a minute. Ooh, wee, baby. This your boy Big Nate with the Real Underground radio station, baby.
What a woman needs every now and then.
Just rock with me for a few minutes, baby, while I get this thing together for you.
That
Ooh.
is if you want to keep your thing together.
Ooh, talk to him, baby.
Listen to me now.
Wait a minute. Let that beat drop. Ooh! It's Valentine's Day, baby. It's the day of lovers, baby. What better way to be in love by talking about some money? Hey! Think it over. Ooh, wee! Hey! Do the things that keep a smile on her face, baby. Better every day, baby. Ooh, wee, baby. You better be on your P's and Q's. Think it over. Think it over, my brother. Ooh, wee, baby. Think it over. Ooh, wee. Ooh, wee, baby. Ooh. Think it over. We just getting this thing ready for y'all, man. Hey, make sure y'all getting ready with us, man. You know how sometimes you just gotta yawn. This is what this is, baby. We just pre-gaming. Ooh. Your P's and Q's, baby. Oh, boom. I'm going high. Ooh, wee, baby. You gotta make them heavy. You gotta make them feel it, baby, down in their bones. Ooh, wee, baby. Ooh, wee, baby. This your boy Big Nate with the Real Underground radio station. Ooh, wee, baby. This Nate Logic. Hey, man, listen, man. Listen. I know y'all missed me, man. I'm so excited to be back in front of y'all, man. And sometimes I be needing to take a little minute, catch my breath and recuperate. Cause I give y'all a lot of energy, man. And so when I have an opportunity to catch my breath, I just have to take it. So I want to make sure that I'm always able to give y'all 130, baby. 130% of whatever I got going on. So listen, man, today we in this thing. Listen, I know some of y'all. I know some of us been sitting back trying to figure out how to, man, Nate. I done got the messages. It has been communicated to me, Nate. I want to figure out how I can become a millionaire so freaking bad. Well, I had to dig deep, man. I had to go find somebody that can help us become a millionaire, that can help us make sure our children are on the path to generational wealth, to make sure that we are making investments to build portfolios, to make sure that we ain't just handing our kids our favorite pair of Nike slides when we die. Huh? To make sure that we ain't just handing our kids our collection of U.S. Polo Association when we go to glory. To make sure our kids just ain't getting no used Timbos when we go to glory. To make sure the only thing our kids got to look forward to when we go to glory is some 26s, some used 26-inch rims. Huh? A dirty 27-piece. Huh? I need to make sure that our babies got something to look forward to when y'all hit the glory. Because one thing for sure, two things for certain. You going to glory, baby. Oh, wait. This your boy Big Nate with the Real Underground Radio Station. This is Nate Logic, baby. And I got my sister, Angela White Smith.
Hey.
Let me say it correctly. I don't want you guys to think that I'm not buttoned up and can't present myself accordingly. Yes, I have Miss Angela White Smith. Miss Smith, how you doing, sister?
Miss White Smith is doing fantastic.
Miss White, did I just say it wrong?
You did.
What did I
It's
say?
White Smith.
It's White Smith.
But I don't know. People in the South do that.
I don't know, man.
They see two names and they just forget the first one. And they just say
That's
the
a whole
last.
nother argument.
It's not an
That's
argument.
a whole nother.
This is about education and love.
That's what this is.
So if I write my name,
Angela White
way,
Smith?
that's the way you supposed to read it.
That's what it's supposed to say.
That's what it's supposed to
Don't
say.
take no name off.
Don't take it. Don't add.
Don't add
call
no-
me Angie because
don't-
that'll get you beat up.
If they call you Angie,
Oh
that's
no,
just a
no,
name.
no.
That ain't your name.
That ain't my name.
Don't call you Angie.
That's right.
It's Angela
Thank you,
White,
Smith.
no hyphen, Smith.
You got it.
Please don't hyphen it. I'm telling you, that hyphen thing, I know you probably don't.
It
if
throws
you-
me off.
Listen, that hyphen thing, I'm going to tell you something. That
Talk to
hyphen
me.
thing causes a big uproar for a lot of men.
Ooh, let's talk about that real quick. Can we talk about that?
That hyphen thing, because I'm a not. Listen, if you get Baker, it's Baker.
Ooh, Jesus.
It's Baker. It ain't Baker and.
Okay. Well, it's something that'd be before. First off.
No.
Well, first off,
I am the. Hold on. I am the first and the Omega. I'm
talking
not
to a-
finna be no.
he talking to a northern girl, y'all.
That
So
not, that first name.
this-
It's just Baker now.
This stuff.
I'm
this
just saying.
toxic masculinity. That's
what
we
that
started
is?
with? Yes.
How is that toxic?
Because that woman, whomever you will marry, she was a whole person before you showed up.
But when she came into my life,
Wait, let me finish because I listened to that toxic message. So let's listen
Okay,
to
it's
this
not
toxic.
toxic.
Let's listen to this toxic femininity.
That's what-
Feminism. Woohoo!
see that? Well, that's got our community.
Look, no, they didn't got our community nothing. But she was a whole person before she showed up. She established herself, got educated, and all
Yeah.
those things in that name.
God
and so
bless her.
you don't want her to lose who she was to become your partner because you two aren't melding into one person. You're still going to be two individual people with your own successes and your own stories. So what we need is our men to be empowered enough to feel great enough that we're honored to take your name in any form, because I know some married women who have not taken their husband's name at all.
Wouldn't be
They
me.
continue in life with their own name.
God bless them.
Exactly. That may not be your story, but I'm just saying.
It's some who
It's
I
just
know
trad-
some men who like men.
it's
I know some women who like women. I know some people who millionaires. But guess what? I ain't. None of them.
But I'm just saying. So I have to tell you this real quick. So the reason I'm White Smith, I am happily divorced. I used to be Angela White hyphen Smith, but when I divorced that sucker, that hyphen needed to go. I didn't want to be connected. I didn't want it to be connected to that sucker no more.
So hold on, wait a minute. You kept his name.
Well, let me tell you from my perspective.
Okay.
When we got married, I did have a daughter already.
Oh,
and her
okay.
last name is White. So that was
Okay.
another reason why I really didn't want to
Okay.
get rid of that. And then I do have a son with my ex-husband. His last name is Smith. So when I see my name, I see my two kids.
Oh,
I don't see that knucklehead.
that makes perfect sense.
So for me, as a single woman who didn't schedule a podcast on Valentine's Day because she ain't got nothing else
I
to do.
was wondering why you
Ain't
did
got
that.
no dates. Well, we'll talk about that another time. That's another
We here
topic.
to talk. See, and listen though, this subject we finna cover is gonna show everybody that how to become millionaires.
That's right.
So once when you become a millionaire, when you got it, your swag a little different.
You know,
When you own your own home or
Yes.
homes or
That's right.
apartment complexes,
Yes.
you got a
You
different
have-
swag
you
about
have
yourself.
a piece about yourself. You have a piece about your life. I have a piece about the fact that I have a will and that my kids will certainly receive something upon my death. Sometimes I think them suckers is working on taking me out so they can
Send
get
you
their
on the
money.
glory, huh? So they, look, mama, Ain't no sense in holding on,
we
mama.
don't need you to hold on. You go
Hey,
and let go.
you worth more to me gone.
Exactly. Yes, sir. You can unplug that.
Go ahead.
You
What
know.
we waiting on? That's it.
She
I-
says she don't want to
I
suffer.
got mine resuscitate.
Yes.
Resuscitate me.
over and over again.
Keep going. Now I want to be sitting in the room looking at you and just don't you
Right.
trip over that plug.
Right. Freeze me. Use some AI.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Make it
need to
happen.
make sure that you try to take care of me before you send me on up out of
Yeah.
here.
But I will say, I know my children will put me in a nursing home. I'm sure of it. But it'll be
Yeah.
a nice nursing home.
Well, see,
I
I've
got
already-
some good kids.
Yeah, that you got some.
I got some good babies.
See, I don't have kids. I have nephews, and I've already requested put me in the cheapest, nastiest nursing home you can find.
Why?
Because I just prefer that.
No, it's got to be a nice one.
I want to be in a cheap nursing home.
Why?
Because I just feel like the cheap nursing homes, I might find a girlfriend in a cheap
You
nursing
gonna
home.
find a good one in the nice one.
Man, nah,
Okay,
nah,
let's
nah.
go mid range. Let's go
Nah,
mid range.
put me. You know what? Hopefully, I be done built my financial portfolio and had 100 houses. by
Right, let's
then.
talk about that.
So therefore, I ain't even got to go in the nursing
That's
home.
right.
I can be sitting in the back room of my 10th house.
That's right, having them come to you.
Yes,
That's
yes.
what we talking about today,
Ringing
how to
the
make
bell.
that happen. So let's
Come wipe me.
Okay. And so first on my list we have, how can I help you today? Thank
Oh
you.
no. You're not just gonna hijack this.
I'm just saying.
We're down the street now,
We in
baby.
some scary territory, and I just want to cover my list. Go home.
You just want to cover your list, huh?
and look and drink my wine alone without even drink.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
dig
a
it.
lie.
I
but
dig it. I
yeah.
dig it. This your boy Big Nate with the Real Underground Radio Station. What's going on, everybody? I need everybody to make sure that you tuned in and share this podcast. Share this for you, man. I can't even talk.
That's right. See, I got
Share.
you all flustered.
Hell no, baby. I don't get flustered.
You flustered.
I get a lot of things,
You
but
flustered.
flustered nor busted is neither one.
Flustered. Flustered.
I need all my people to share this for us right now, man. Make sure y'all sharing this so we can get everybody tapped in, and we want to make sure everybody know what we got going on. It's your boy Big Nate with the Real Underground Radio Station. It'll be a service to us, to the community, if we can get this message out to everyone. So.
Yes.
Tonight we have Miss Angela White Smith, man. We're talking about one of the most important things that need to take place is in our community is home ownership.
Yes.
Building something for you to have on your own, to own. You ain't got to worry about somebody coming to tell you to get up out of here. It's yours.
Yep, that's right.
You know, home ownership, in my opinion, is a fast way to wealth.
Mhm.
You know, whether it's a millionaire, whether it's 100,000, 200,000, no matter what it may be, but it gives you an opportunity to become, to live a better lifestyle.
Mhm.
You know, one of
Absolutely.
your biggest expenses is where you pay for what you pay to live,
Yep.
where you pay to live. You know, and with things going now, you're paying to live in a safe neighborhood. Even in Pine Bluff, you're probably paying anywhere between, for rent, $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500. And you know, in Little Rock, you're probably paying close to $2,000. So if we could figure out a way to help people lessen that burden of that monthly expense, we're doing a service to our community. So I'm excited about having Miss Angela White Smith on our show tonight, Nate Logic, so we can have that conversation. Miss Angela White Smith, everybody.
So that was so loaded. You
So-
said so much.
I know. I put it on thick because I wanted people to have an understanding of where we're going, and what some of the things that we're going to talk about.
Yes.
I just had to drop the bomb on them.
Not the whole
I
bottle.
want to make sure they were aware of what we got going on. So, Angela, first of all, what I'm always excited about is people. You're in Pine Bluff, right?
Yes, I
That
am.
is your center location,
Yes,
right?
that's where I'm proudly located in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I tell people all the time I'm gonna live there till I die.
I'm always grateful and excited about people who choose Pine Bluff.
Yeah.
Because ultimately we know that you could have went anywhere else in the world, but you chose Pine Bluff.
Yep.
Why?
So, long story short, the maternal side of my family is from Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Uh-huh.
I grew up in Chicago, or the suburbs thereof, south suburbs. And I spent every summer as a kid in Pine Bluff with my great grandparents, with my extended family, and Pine Bluff just has this hold on my heart that is irreplaceable, irrefutable. I graduated from college, moved to Minnesota, lived there for 20 some odd years, bought a house sight unseen in Pine Bluff about, I think this is 9 years ago now. And when I purchased the home, my initial thought was, I'm buying a house for my retirement. You know, I'll fix it up because I had fixed up some houses in Minnesota and had fixed up the home that I lived in. It's like, I'll fix it up, kind of do the remote thing. And then, you know, I'll just visit it every now and again. When I retire, I'll be there. I was in Pine Bluff in like April, March. Again, I was living in Minnesota. April and March is still pretty cold, a lot of snow. And I got laid off from my remote job. And I was in my house in Pine Bluff. I looked around. I was like, you know, this place is nice. I like it here. You know, I've kind of met a few people. My kids are grown. They've moved out of our family home in Minnesota. And I was like, I think I'm just going to go ahead and move here. And so it really happened by accident that I got here so fast, I guess. But I always knew I'd own a home in Pine Bluff. I didn't tell very many people that because it's not a, I don't believe you share your dreams with people. I believe you show them. Because sometimes when you tell people, because it's not their dream, they won't understand it. So don't allow yourself to be talked out of your dream. It's yours. So I didn't tell anyone. I showed them.
And just popped up in the Bluff.
That's right.
I bet your folks was like, what the hell?
They were, but they also know me. So I've done, you know, I'm pretty adventurous. I do lots of things, you know.
You wasn't afraid?
Not at all. Why
Where
should
did
I be
that come
afraid?
from?
I have to credit my dad with that. I am his daughter through and through. He's no longer with us. And actually it'd be 25 years ago tomorrow that we lost him. I am a daddy's girl, only girl. The boys, I'm the middle child. They're irrelevant. I'm the one with all the juice and the swag.
My sister would say that, and she's the oldest.
Right. They were practicing on the first one.
Right.
They got it right with me. And then that one, they ain't had none left.
My sister would say, God bless her. I love my big sister. She would say that she was the best. She broke the mold, and we were just a bunch of mistakes.
I can see that. I can see
Many,
that.
I wouldn't argue it.
She's rooted in herself, but yeah, so I get that and I've always been this way. I've always been very comfortable in my own skin. I'm not one to chase trends. I think you can ask anyone who's grown up with me, if they were all listening to New Edition, I was listening to Freddie Jackson. I don't know why I'm like that. I just got to be different. I don't know.
Freddie.
Just old Freddie.
So you weren't afraid to, starting out, you wasn't afraid to do something different.
Never.
So not being afraid to do something different, that's something that started in you early then.
It's always been in me. And I like I said, I can remember very clearly probably being about 8 or 9 years old. My dad worked for Illinois Bell, Ameritech, AT&T, a long time ago. That's what it was. He came home from work. He walked around the side of the house, and I was on the porch, and I was crying. And you could tell he had a long day and really didn't feel like being bothered with me and my drama. He was kind of like, what's wrong with you? They won't let me play with them. I was pointing to the girls across the street. They got a little cheerleading team. They won't let me play with them. Make your own team. And he just walked right on in the house. Ain't think twice of it. And that's always been in my head. So you know what I did, Nate? I got up and I started doing my own cheers. And now it's 4 or 5 of them. They looking at me like, what's she over there doing? She don't have a team.
They don't know what you got going on.
And so I'm thankful for that small lesson because it has carried me forever, because I can walk around and be unique and I'm not paying attention to anyone anywhere. And it's not arrogance, right? It's just I'm comfortable in my skin.
I think that's a good thing, because a lot of times people get so caught up in other people's opinion that they never get a chance to fully develop in who they need to be. Because they're worried about other people's opinions, thoughts, and what they gonna think about me and this and that. And that translates into how they become homeowners and how that affects them negatively financially, because you trying to keep up with the Joneses. And you can't afford it.
You're doing all the wrong things. Well, your friend went and bought a brand new car, so you want to try to get a brand new car. But the brand new car is going to depreciate in value. So you're getting a car, and then you all are paying rent.
Right.
I'd rather you drive a hoopty,
right,
save your money, and get a house. Let's talk about it. Right.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. That those small little things of where you're teaching your child how to stand up on their own,
Mm-hmm.
how to be okay with who you are, how to be cool within your own skin.
Yeah.
You're giving your child the skill set to make better financial decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, a good financial decision with your child is telling them, listen, you know you only get $10 for the week for what they call it,
For allowance.
allowance.
Mm-hmm.
Don't blow all that in the vending machine
On day one.
day one.
It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a rough
Come
week.
Friday, everybody else drinking Fantas and you drinking out of
The water
a water fountain. Huh? You better be mindful. And you got to teach your children these things so they know how to start being financially disciplined, how to start understanding that I got to make this stretch. I got to make the better decisions so
Yep.
I can.
And they learn by watching us, right?
Mm.
So there's a lot of things you can sit there and tell your kids, but they have to see it. You know, my kids, when they were growing up, my daughter is 31, my son's 28.
Mhm.
When they were growing up, we would cut coupons on Sunday out the paper. It's like, if you want something, we need to figure out how we can afford it.
Mhm.
My kids always knew what my salary was because I needed them to understand the mortgage cost this, the utilities cost this is what I have left. So yes, I can afford your basketball camp, or no, I cannot. And this is what mommy has to do to go and figure it out. Having those honest, transparent conversations about finances help our kids. They don't hurt them. It's not your kids being in your business. It's you helping your kids understand, oh, this is why we can do this. If we're gonna go to Disney World, this is what it's gonna take. We're
Yep.
gonna have to save. We're gonna have to not go out to eat. Same thing with a house.
Yep.
If you all are going out to eat 5 nights a week, you'd have to stop that. It's probably best for them health-wise and financially not to do that. So it's having that courage and having those conversations, which I just think, because if people didn't grow up, or a lot of times it's, get out my business. You don't need to know about this money or whatever. Well, these people that you're raising, they're going to grow out into the streets. They need some context. And it's really sad when you see people make financial mistakes that they just didn't need to.
And it's important that you start teaching them those that context to understand.
Yes.
Well, baby, this is why we can't go eat McDonald's this week because listen, we trying to get you. Ain't you tired of having to share a bathroom
Exactly.
with everybody? We out this 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Don't you want to have an extra bathroom?
Yes.
So if you want to have an extra bathroom, we can't go eat McDonald's every
Or
week.
your own room, or your own yard to play in, and all that things, and have sleepovers, and all those things. So yeah, it's super important. We have to lay that foundation.
Very.
And I am grateful. I realize this more as an adult. But in Illinois, it was at the time, I don't know if it still is, consumer education was mandatory. You had to have that before you graduated high school. And so in that class, we learned about mortgages, credit cards, savings account, checking accounts. You had to have it. It was a requirement. Now, I can tell the story of being in high school. I'm a nerd. I'm proud to be a nerd. I'm a front of the class kind of girl. I'm trying to take in all the knowledge every time.
You wanna
all the
know.
time.
You want to know.
I want to know. One of my friends sat in the middle of the class. Her name is LaToya. One of my friends, she sat in the back of the class. I love this story because we all went to school together, all grew up middle class, don't know anything about being poor until we became adults, right? That's when the struggle hit. Two-parent households, you know what I mean?
Right.
Vacations, cars, we don't know anything. I bought my first home when I was 29. Toya probably got a home. She probably was like 35, 36. We all just turned 50 years, still ain't got a house. So she was in the back of the class goofing off, not paying attention. And it's just funny to me how our financial decisions have kind of followed suit with that. So tonight, we're going to put everybody in the front of the class. Everybody trips and the tips that they need to do to get a home, because it is intimidating.
Right.
It
The
is.
whole home buying process is intimidating. I think one of the most intimidating things about home buying, and trips a lot of people up, scares a lot of folks, is credit.
Yes. Can we talk about credit?
So, if what's the first step in even looking at credit?
Okay.
Like, where you start this whole credit thing at?
Well, let's talk about first thing not to do. Let's not purchase credit repair. I know it's a lot of people that's selling credit repair, and I'm not a hater, but I'm just going to tell you a fact. Anything that a credit repair person can do for you, you can easily do for yourself. So Nate, You, as an American citizen, all of us, we have the right to get 3 credit reports free per year. We don't have to pay for them. You go to annualcreditreport.com.
Hold on. Annualcreditreport.com.
Yes.
Y'all need to be taking notes.
Yes.
Go there first.
Yes.
Annualcreditreport.com.
And if you see if you type in free credit report or something like that, and you see somebody wanting to charge you, we all know it's scams and duplicate sites. But the government has mandated that the 3 credit bureaus, who are Equifax, TransUnion, and it always escaped me, Experian, they have to give you one. Okay, so you get your credit report. First off, let's be for real. You know what you out in the streets doing. You know if you're paying your bills on time, and you know if you're not. So first off, let's just pay our bills on time, right?
Woo!
That's the first step. That's the first step.
Lord help me.
So we don't want to get more bills than we can pay, right? So that's a situation that we sometimes get into. We have to face that head on, but you can't keep hiding under the curtain.
Hoping that it just go away.
It's not going to go away.
That monster ain't going to go away.
It's not going to go away. And with interest and all that stuff, it's going to build up. So that's the first thing. Now, if you genuinely see something on your credit report that you did not do, if you've never lived in St. Louis and you have a charge for the hospital in St. Louis, it's called a dispute. You easily click the button. It's all online. You click the button and you dispute it. That credit bureau has 30 days to contact that hospital in St. Louis, let's say, and to verify that credit, that debit is actually yours. If they do not verify, they have to remove it. But don't be going around disputing the stuff, your vacation that you took. Don't do that.
Don't dispute it, because you knew you was in Atlanta. You know you was hanging up on that balcony.
So the
you know you was out there.
Right, let's own it.
Don't dispute what you paid for in Club Magic.
Right. Or that girl that you proposed to 2 Valentines ago.
Oh, wait, baby.
That you ain't with no more.
And you ain't paid for that ring
and
yet?
You don't want to pay the ring because you mad. I'm sorry, but you have to pay the ring.
Don't dispute it. Don't dispute where you didn't co-sign for that girl.
Next time, buy cubic zirconia first, get to the altar, and then trade up after.
Hey, figure it out. Figure it out.
So that's the first thing that we're doing. The first thing we're doing is making sure it's ours. Every debt is ours, right? That's the first thing we're doing. We're going to dispute what is not ours. And then the one of the biggest tricks, one of the things that you need to understand is talk about credit to income or debit to income ratio. I'm not going to try to go too far into science, but I also want y'all to learn this financial science. So basically, there's only so much money, so much debt you should be getting into based on your income. So this is basic. It's called living within your means, right? So that's something that as you're being evaluated for a mortgage, people are going to look at. You want to be you're going to hear that. Debit to income ratio. What is that? For certain loan products, and I'm not trying to get too whatever down the road, it varies. But you really want to keep, in general, your housing should be 30-40% of your income. Now, sometimes, like what you said, when it's these high markets and cities that you're living in, it's not that. That's actually one of the pluses of Pine Bluff because the home ownership is actually very affordable there.
Right.
It's so you have to look at that.
So are student loans included in debt to income ratio?
Student loans are included in debt to income ratio, but you have to think about it. You want to show that you're making payments. You want to be talking to those student loan companies. They're generally, I have student loans still. Let's not talk about it. But I still have some, but it hasn't stopped me from doing anything, right? Because I stay on top of them. I go into deferments when I need to, but I still know that it's there, right?
Yeah, ain't no running from it.
You can't run for it. And if you didn't get a degree and all that, those student loans can hurt. I actually got a degree, right? So I was in a position to be able to pay them, and that's helpful. But I recognize that a lot of people started college and then for different reasons they couldn't finish. Now they have a job that's not necessarily paying what they needed to pay. And then they have these loans, and it feels like a noose on their neck. I get that. I think it's wonderful right now. There's a lot of benefits to being younger. I'll be 52 this year. I'm proud of where I am. But the fact that you can Uber and DoorDash and do all these kind of gig things to make some money. So do those gig things to pay down some debt, and not just to take the trip.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to flip your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And so, one thing that I want to stress, let's say you have $1,000 as a credit limit on your card, or your credit cards equal $1,000. The key thing that you want to do, the fastest way to increase your credit score. And I'm gonna say this again. The fastest way to increase your credit score is to be below 30% utilization.
So hold on.
Yep.
So you want to be below 30% utilization. So before we go any further, let's explain what utilization is.
Absolutely. So that is how much of your credit card line. So they give you a credit limit, right? So you may have 3 cards, you may have 2 cards, you may have whatever. Add all those credit limits up. But we're going to keep it at 1,000 just to make the math simple.
So let's say you got a Discover. Let's say you got a Discover and a Visa,
a Target store
and
card,
a
Walmart
Target store
card.
All of them together come to $1,000 total.
That's $1,000 total.
They need to be under, what's 30% of $1,000?
$300.
They need to be under $300.
So the amount that you owe at the end of the month on those cards needs to be
no
more than $300
out of all your credit cards.
All of them
under 30%, under $300.
Yes. Now think about that. In the real world, most people ain't living like that.
Nah, that takes some discipline.
So wait a minute.
I'm going to get them 26-inch rims.
Let's talk about this though. It's Valentine's Day, so this is the way I love to explain this. Nobody likes a thirsty person. The person who calls, the person who's big, and the person who's doing that. We don't like those people. So if you think about a credit card company as a potential lover, they really want you to be self-sufficient. I know it goes against everything that you've thought, but if you're using that card all the time up to the credit limit, what do you look? You look thirsty.
Yep.
You look like you can't take
like
care of yourself.
Like you ain't got no self-control.
That you ain't got it together.
You just out here.
That you just begging.
Nose just wide open.
But if you sipping a little bit, you call them back every few times they call you, all that kind of stuff. Right. Then you look like a boss.
Yeah.
So you gotta let them know. Now you can say, well, shoot, I need that credit. I get that.
Yeah.
But the credit card companies, and I speak again from experience. Before I became a realtor, I worked in corporate America for many years, and you know where I worked? Financial services. And you know what product I worked on? Credit card products. So I know what I'm talking about. The people who basically aren't using their cards, that have, credit cards are sitting in their drawer and they don't charge, those are the people that I would be making those mailings to, doing those phone calls, doing those emails to. Why? Because they're the most responsible. I'm not going to email Pookie an offer. If Pookie is at his credit limit every month,
then had a couple of missteps
and applying for cards, I'm not going to do that.
Nah.
So again, that's the first thing to do. So if you're sitting there like, Angela, this sounds great, but man, I got a long way to go to get under 30% utilization.
Right.
That's okay, because now you just learned a trick that will change your life forever. So one short, easy cut you can do, if you had a decent credit history with a company, you can ask for a credit line increase. And just don't use it.
That'll help.
Think about mind blown, right?
Mind blown.
Just think about that.
Oh.
So we got some trips. You can just ask for a credit line increase.
Credit line increase.
And
that don't mean don't go. That don't mean
use it.
You still gotta protect. Hey, don't get up and acting thirsty.
So you're getting yourself a little shortcut, right? So let's say they bump you up. Okay, so now you still got to pay that down. You still got to get under 30%, but that's one way to help you get there, which is, again, contrary to what you might think. Right? So those are 2 good tips.
Right.
You're checking your credit. You staying on top of it.
You ain't just out here disputing everything.
Right. You paying your bills on time. Absolutely. So if you want somebody to trust you with a mortgage, you need to be paying on time. And you're staying under 30% credit utilization. That is going to improve your credit score so drastically. And these changes don't necessarily take a year. They'll take a couple months. You will see that. If you do that, I promise you'll
see an increase.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So with these disputes, when you dispute these, you can dispute them online now? You don't have to mail in the letters and stuff all that no
Nope.
more.
Nope. You can dispute it online, and then it becomes their responsibility to prove that it was actually you. But again, we are only disputing stuff that's not ours.
You can't just dispute stuff that it wasn't
You
yours.
can go around disputing all the stuff you want, but you know it's yours. Just pay it.
Just
Just bite the
now.
bullet.
Let me ask you,
Yeah.
because this is the case for some stuff.
Yeah.
If you have debt that has already been written off,
Good question.
what do you do with it then? Do you
Okay.
still pay it? So how do you handle that?
So that's going really far, but that's a good question. If it's over 7 years old, it's not supposed to be on your report anymore. So
Okay.
you can't ask for things to be removed if they're too old. I had a
But hold on.
landlord- Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
If it is over 7 years old and it's still on your credit, do you just say, "Hey, remove this"? Is
Yes,
over.
yeah.
Okay.
So the same way as the dispute button, you can say remove it, or you can dispute it and then say it's from 10
Okay,
years ago.
okay.
Right?
So if a debt, because we running out of time.
Oh, sure.
This your
Yeah,
boy
we
Big
talking
Nate
about
with the
a lot
real
of stuff.
right. This your boy Big Nate with the Real Underground Radio Station. Listen, man, if you're trying to get yourself situated, you better be in here trying to get tapped in with your boy so we can talk this talk. We can go get you in a house,
In
a
house.
couple houses.
Yes.
So you got this dispute. It's been charged off. What do you do then?
Do you have anything to do? It's gone.
It's been charged off.
It's gone.
How do you remove it off your credit?
So it's gonna drop off after 7 years.
Okay, what if
Yeah.
it ain't 7 years?
Then if it ain't 7 years, you just gotta live with it. But that's okay, because when they're qualifying you for a home, they're generally looking at the last 2 to 3 years, right? So maybe stuff was
So
a little
what if
raggedy
okay,
5
so-
years ago. But again, the further you are away from that mistake, and the more good things you're building, that length of time of good credit history, that's what's making your score go up.
Okay.
So I didn't realize we just talking so much.
Right.
So
But it's all good. We got some
good.
time. We got
It's
some
good.
time.
Yeah.
So the next step, you say, okay, Nate, I got this credit thing situated. I'm at a 728 now.
okay, you good.
You super good.
You super good.
Now what do you do now? What do you just call Angela and go pick out a house?
So then we're going to want to get you pre-qualified or pre-approved. So
Okay.
I have a bunch of mortgage lenders that I work with, but I always like to explain the difference. If I go to a person who is a mortgage lender at Simmons, that person can only then get you Simmons home products. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But if I go to someone who's a mortgage broker, they basically can get you a loan product through a bunch of different partners. There's not one that's better than the other. You really, when you're doing that and talking to people, you're shopping, right? So those dings that we hear about on credit and stuff like that, you got a 30, 60-day window when you're applying for a home mortgage that they know that they're giving you kind of grace. They're not going to ding you to do a soft pull, because they want you, again, to be a good, savvy person. So maybe you talk to your credit union, maybe you talk to your bank, maybe you talk to a mortgage broker, and then you look at the terms. You say, okay, this one is 30-year, 5%, this one's 30-year, 10%. Then you're going to choose the one that's best for you. And so I am definitely a real estate expert, right? And so I am going to partner you. If you ask me, who should I apply with? I got a couple people that I'm going to say, hey, go talk to them first. When you get that pre-approval letter, they're going to come back and they're going to say, okay, you're approved for $120,000. You're approved for $200,000. You're approved for $60,000. It can go a long way. They're really doing that deep pull, and that talking to you about how much money you're making, what your bills are every month, because they want you to be successful. There's no person really in this process who wants you to fail. I think there are some people more like me who are really committed to seeing people be successful, and those are the people that I'm generally going to recommend.
So let's say you stay in Pine Bluff. You say you stay around. You like Pine Bluff.
Yeah.
You know, you think Pine Bluff is it. I personally agree. Pine Bluff is
agree
it.
too.
We all like Pine Bluff.
I agree.
And you want to stay around in the 28th, 20th Street area. They got a program that was with Go Forward.
Yes.
Although Go Forward is no longer. They still have some remnants, some still.
Yes.
So we still have opportunities.
Yes, I'm excited about this.
We still have opportunities for what we call the Alice program.
That's right.
Go in debt, because I know this is your baby.
I love this.
The Alice program, in my opinion, is a wonderful opportunity for someone who's just starting out, from someone who, no matter where you are in life,
Yes.
whether you're getting ready to retire, whether you just starting out, whether you're in the middle of your middle stages of life, the Alice program presents to you an opportunity to become a homeowner.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times, the people who they are pinpointing or giving opportunity to was not going to be a homeowner.
That's right. That's right. So the Alice program is wonderful. It allows a person with a credit score of down to 580.
580.
So that person, they wasn't under credit utilization. They
Nah.
the income ratio was off. They was doing some stuff that they just didn't know. Because I always assume positive intent. I don't think people want to be in debt. It just happens sometimes.
Just some bad
Life
decisions,
happens to
right?
us, and not knowing. So if you have a credit score, a minimum of 580, you have worked consistently for 2 years. You could have job top. You could have went from Walmart to Tyson to Central Malone to Lowe's, but you had consistent income for 2 years, and you lived in Pine Bluff for 2 years. Those are the base levels for qualification. And then the home that you can purchase is in, they call the Alice Zone, which is from 20, I'm sorry, you said 28, that threw me off. So from 34th to 18th, from Olive to Hazel. So it's a little rectangle. Now you could say, well, why would they, limit us to this area? It was very strategic, and I understand it. They really wanted to see renovators like myself, because I'm a realtor and also renovate and flip houses, come into that area, renovate some of those homes, and then those persons, because we all watch the same HGTV. So if you get ready to buy your first home, you don't want some old crazy house. You want some new modern stuff. So that's why they really focused in on that area. And what I'm excited about is that even though the Pine Bluff Go Forward tax did not get renewed, you still have until the end of this year to take advantage of the Alice program, and then it goes away. So I want to scream to people, if you even think you want a house, if you think you might sort of kind of meet these, please reach out to me.
Right,
Please,
because
please,
here's the thing. If you, let's just do some real numbers.
Yeah.
here. And I don't know if you have your
I got a calculator.
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 So let's say, and there are real houses in the Alice area.
Yes.
That's about
$100,000.
$100,000.
$75,000.
So how, with a credit score of 580, $100,000 house.
Yes.
How much is your mortgage?
It's gonna be about $600-$700.
Oh, wait, baby.
Yeah.
Now look at that. You're looking at a $600-$700 mortgage compared to $1,400-$1,500
Yes.
rent.
And I forgot something. I can't believe I forgot this. The Alice program includes them paying your closing costs and your down payment.
So wait, baby.
How did I forget that? Oh my God. Yes.
Wait a minute. 580 credit score. Huh? Listen, 580 credit score.
Yes.
They're going to pay your closing costs. They're going to pay your down payment.
Yes.
Instead of going down there and get that new Challenger, hit up Ansel.
Okay.
Come get you a house.
These tax refunds that y'all getting right now, please
Take that tax refund, pay off some of that stuff.
pay it off.
Come get you a house. Your rent only
Get you a
$600-$700.
Right. For sure. So that what makes me excited. So you think about, okay, this is too good to be true. It's got to cost me something. In the home buyer process, you want a home inspection. Those are about $300 to $500, depending on who you use. But that's protecting you. You want to know, is this house okay? Is everything? That's something that you do need to be prepared for. And you have to think about, hey, if I got to get a rental truck or something like that, it costs a little money to move. So you do want to save something, right? You want that cushion. You want a couple months saved up if you can. But not having to pay a down payment, not having to pay closing costs, which can generally be several thousands of dollars.
Right.
This is wonderful. I just got under contract with someone today who's taking advantage of the Alice program. She got an offer accepted. The house that she's purchasing is $72,000.
Oh, wow.
In the house zone. And she is creating a different life for her and her daughter. And I am just pleased as punch. We've been working at this for a while, but we finally found a house that works for her. And she's excited, and I'm excited.
I'm excited for it,
I
too.
am, too.
Oh, wait, baby.
And I want more.
How much is her, so just not specifically, how much is her rent?
Her rent right now.
Nah, her mortgage.
Her
with the
mortgage is gonna be. I think her mortgage is gonna end up like $682, something like that. And that's purely mortgage.
Mhm.
Now, when you get a mortgage, you have to have a homeowner's insurance. So
Right.
that may add $100 or
Right.
something here. But let's look at it this way, because this is what I tell people. Let's call the mortgage $700. If you're getting a 30-year mortgage, you are then committing to $700 for 30 years. So when we think about where we are today, that we're working, we're going to school, we might get that promotion, in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you're going to be making more money.
Right.
But your mortgage, the cost of your living,
It's still the same.
is the same. So that gap, I have a chart, so I have to create the chart
Right.
for you all.
Right.
That gap in there, that gray space, is where you call wealth. That becomes what you have to save, what you have to invest, because over time, your mortgage, because it's the same,
Stays
that's the
just that.
sweet spot. You don't have to worry about your rent going up
Mhm.
next year. It's not going to do that. That's huge. Like, think about that. You all know, if you're in that rent game, you know that.
Your
Oh my
rent go
goodness,
up every
my
year.
lease come up. Here he gonna come. This
Oh.
man about to come with this BS. He ain't improved this property at all.
Oh my God.
But he wants $200 more.
But here's the other side to that too.
Mm-hmm.
A tricky word that throw a lot of people off.
Mm-hmm.
Equity.
Ooh, let's talk about equity.
So now when your rent didn't go up, you didn't got this house in the Alice program. You've been staying in this house for about 5 years.
Mm-hmm. And you're taking care of it.
You taking
You're
care
mowing
of
the grass. You're
Yep.
painting. You're doing all the
All
things.
that.
You're a good neighbor.
great neighbor.
You're a good neighbor.
You
So
got a
now-
little equity.
So now maybe in 5 years, maybe that house is worth $90,000. You paid 72, so now, and you've been paying on it. So maybe you only owe the bank 60,000, and it's worth 90. Now you have $30,000
In equity.
equity. That's what we call real money. So you could borrow. You can do something called a home equity loan. You could take that. Maybe you do a little addition on your house. Maybe you get a new roof. Maybe you do things to improve your home, which again is only adding more value, more equity. That's where wealth is created, people.
Or you could take that $30,000
Mm-hmm.
and go buy a duplex.
You could. You could. Some people do things.
You could
like
take that $30,000.
buy a car. They do lots of things. We don't
You
suggest that.
right. You can take that same $30,000 because you got equity
Mhm.
and go buy the daycare center.
Yes.
You've been working at the daycare for 20 years.
Mhm.
Now you can go take that same $30,000 and open up your own
Yes.
daycare.
Yes.
You can take that $30,000 and go buy your boyfriend a dump truck.
And buy your business. I would say, ladies, you buy your own dump truck for yourself later. Because, especially
But-
not for
but-
boyfriends. We don't
Right.
do that.
Or by your husband.
Yeah.
By yourself. You can get lawnmower
Invest.
equipment. You can invest in something to help build wealth.
Right. So I understand getting a house is very intimidating. You don't know where to start. It sounds like so much. I really understand that, and I really try to be patient with people. But I need you to understand that in 5 to 10 years, your life is going to be so different. From making that decision, from taking the courage right now, today, to do the right things, pull that credit report, start being underutilization. Man, it's life changing.
It's life changing. This
Yes.
is the quickest way. We really just gave y'all the game plan
It's
on
the
how to become a
secret.
millionaire.
It's the secret.
This is yeah.
It really
I really
is.
feel like we just gave y'all the game
And
for
people
$9.99.
Don't talk. We give it to you for free.
This is
It
free.
didn't cost you nothing.
Yeah.
And this
Well,
is-
whatever your cell phone
This
bill
is the
was.
thing we don't talk about. Women, we hear that, oh, you want to wait until you're married to buy a house. Men, my mailman. I love my mailman. I really don't know his name, but I tease him all the time. I'm like, when you going to buy a house? And gave him my card. One time I was in Walmart. Not only is this man my mailman, he works at Walmart too. This man got 2 jobs.
Just grinding.
Walking around with that Walmart tag on that said over 10 years of service. So he been there.
He know what it takes.
And he's renting. And I'm like, why? Come on, let's talk about this. You got 2 good jobs. You work at the post office.
You know what it
and
is.
You work at Walmart. Like, I'm not married. I always thought I'd get one when I'm married. But you're a better catch to be a husband and a better just for yourself to get a house. I hear this all the time. You can buy a house as a single person. You don't have to be married. You could buy a house with your best friend. You don't have to be married to the person that you buy a house with. You don't have to be married to them. And it could be anybody.
I think one of the things that scare people about home ownership and buying a home is things like Well, what I'm gonna do when my hot water heater go out? What I'm gonna do when when I can't get nobody to cut my grass?
You don't get your butt out there and cut it yourself.
Oh, what I'm gonna do when I can't figure out when my air conditioner go out? These things scare people. These are real fears for a lot of people.
They're real fears, but again,
Because now they just call the landlord.
okay, so first off, you're getting a home inspection. That doesn't guarantee that nothing's going to go wrong with the house. But it is giving you some peace of mind as to, it's giving you some dates. Okay, you know what? I might have 20 more years on this roof. Well, guess what? Now that you have, again, remember that little pyramid, that gray area, that difference where your prices are not going up every year? You should be saving that. You have that home equity. So if you have a big expense and if you've been taking care of your property, you have home equity. So guess what? You can take out a little loan to repair something if it's a $5,000 expense. And you know more right now about your credit because you've been doing the good things. So you have a credit card, in case of an emergency. You have that now.
You were mindful, yep.
Yes, you were mindful. So that fear, although I understand it, is BS because you're in the apartment, you're in this house, something goes wrong, the landlord, he coming over there fixing it with duct tape anyway.
He's not fixing it for real.
He's not fixing it for real. He or she is not
Right.
fixing it for real.
Right.
They are just doing whatever they can to keep you in that place. So that is the weak. It's a real excuse. It's a real fear. But it's very weak in the long term.
And I think most likely, I'll say this: anyone who's telling you not to buy, what about people who's kind of living these transient lifestyles? And I want to say this because there's some people who tell folks buying a home is stupid or whatever, which I think is ludicrous. But people who, for instance, they're transients, meaning that they're only here for a couple of years and looking to leave in a year after or whatever.
Yeah.
What do you say about those people?
I still think it's still a better investment in yourself than renting because you can sell the home. You don't have to stay in that home for 30 years.
Right.
You can sell it after 5, after 2, whatever is going to work for you. You want to sell it. A lot of people say, oh, I'll just keep it and rent it out. I'm not a fan of that. Go ahead and take your equity out and put it in your next home. That's my philosophy on that.
Get out of it.
Because first off, houses aren't really meant to be rented out. Let's face it. So if you're trying to build wealth, I understand being a landlord looks appealing, but it's also a lot of work. And so you really want to be in a position where you're buying multifamily properties, so duplexes or apartment complexes. I'm perfectly fine with people renting those out. That makes sense. But if you're just renting out a house, you're not really doing that much.
You're not
for
building
yourself.
no wealth like
you're
that.
not.
Right.
It's a trip. Rent houses is a term that I never heard until I moved to Arkansas. Never heard the term rent house.
It was easier because my family's been in real estate and rent houses for years, and I'll be the first to tell you, it ain't easy.
It's not easy.
It ain't even with multifamily complex.
Yeah.
It ain't easy.
It's a job. It's a lot of work.
It ain't easy. People complain about, and you just be like, man, come on.
And you get that whole everybody's pointing the finger.
Yep.
So especially if you're renting out a house, you have a tenant who's like, well, this landlord, it's not my house. And the tenants and the landlord's like, well, you should want to take in because you live there.
Right.
Houses are meant, in my strongest opinion, to be owned by the person who occupies them.
Yep.
So, and when we talk about home equity, let's talk about another thing about home equity that really drives me crazy, and I need people to understand this. So we all know, we've been familiar with the term Karens, right? And sometimes these Karens, they call police, and it's bad situations, right? But sometimes you have some Karens that are calling code enforcement or whatever because you are operating a mechanic shop in your front yard.
And who wants that?
Nobody wants that. And let's talk about why that's bad. Again, I love a scenario. Let's keep it real. If you go to work, let's say you have 2 cars. You leave your extra car sitting in the driveway. You come home from work. You see that the neighbor has parked your car in their driveway. What are you going to do? You're going to call the police because that is your money and your neighbor just took it. When you have a neighbor who is not taking care of their property, they're actually stealing home equity from you.
Yeah.
Why is that, Angela? How is that possible? Well, because if they're not maintaining their property, your property loses value because not as many people will want to come and live in that property.
Right.
So let's say you want to get a home equity loan because now you got to fix this roof. Something happened, or you got your HVAC went out. The appraiser comes out. Your house is beautifully maintained. It looks gorgeous. You are proud. But you got a neighbor over here doing some foolishness. You got a person across the street that's renting. They're not taking care of it. They are literally stealing money from you. So it's okay to call code enforcement on people. It's okay to say, you know what, hey, Mr. John, you
got to get that together.
You got to get it together. Why? Because my money.
Yeah.
You messing with my money. So in that case, you ain't being nosy.
You ain't being
mean.
rude.
You're not being rude. You're like, you know what? If we take care of this block, if we do this, if we help each other, we are building wealth for each of us. We're building wealth for our children. You need to talk about this. We need to be. That's a different way to think about it. You're not being a nosy. You're not being annoying. You're not being a Karen.
Right.
You're protecting your pocket.
And I think that's the important thing when we have to talk about community.
Absolutely.
We have to be mindful of the community that we're in because everybody don't understand that. Everybody, right? Like you want to park your car on the grass, you're hurting my value in my pocket.
That's right.
You have to just come out and tell them, bro, you parking your car in the grass is hurting the value of my home.
You're stealing money from me. Let's call it what it is.
You in my pocket.
Stealing money. And guess what? I would call the police if I saw you stealing my TV.
Get your hands out my pocket.
Get your hands out my
Get
pocket.
your hands out my pockets. Get your hands out my pockets. Get your car out the front yard, cuz.
And you know what? Guess what? Them extra cars that you got in the driveway, you ain't gonna do nothing with them.
Nothing.
Go hawk them doggone cars. Go take them to the salvage yard. Get some money and paint your house.
Yep.
Get some money and pave your driveway. Plant some flowers. We all know when you're driving around, you're looking at houses, the ones that look beautiful, that's where you want to live.
Mm-hmm.
You want to feel good. You go to work. Most of us hate what we do. I happen to be very fortunate. I flip houses. I'm a real estate agent. I own a marketing agency, and I'm an executive director of Habitat for Humanity in Jefferson County. I love my jobs. But it took me to get to 51 and a half to get to a point where I love them.
To where you liked them.
Right. So back in the day, when I was working at companies that I could not stand, like Target Corporation for 5 years of my life. But you know what? I'm bitter still. But I tell you what, when I came home and my house looked nice, it made me feel a certain kind of way.
You didn't mind sitting in the front yard.
I didn't mind it.
I love it.
I didn't mind the sacrifice that I was making every day because my house rose up to meet me.
Yep.
It made me feel good. And I want that. Again, I can't stress to you how much I want this for anyone who's listening.
Right.
I want that for them.
100%. 100%. I think that's important, and people need to understand that.
Yeah.
People really need to understand how important it is to have that sense of pride about what you've done. And you'll have that sense of pride if you can look back where you started 2-3 years ago or where you started today and say, well, I remember when I was trying to get to that 580.
Yes.
And I had to struggle, and I was eating those peanut butter jelly sandwiches just so I could get to under a 30% utilization.
But you have a plan.
And now you got a plan. You got a plan. You got a goal. You know where you're trying to get to.
Yes.
You know what you need to do to get to where you're
difference.
trying to go. And there's so many opportunities that you can get from being a homeowner.
Yes, absolutely.
From what we talked about, the building equity.
It's a tax write-off.
It's a tax. What?
Hello, let's talk about that.
Wait, baby.
These interest rates, they're so high. Oh my God, the interest rate. Don't let that interest rate stop you from getting a house. Back in the day, 80s, 90s, there's been interest rates that were 12% on a house. So this 5%, 6%, 7%, 8%, it might be higher than it was a couple years ago, but it is still a good deal. And guess what? You can write off the interest. When you go and do your taxes, you can write off certain improvements. You can write off things against your house. You can't do that against your rent house.
Right.
You can't do that against your apartment. So again, when you do that pros and cons, the pros to owning a home are so much longer than the cons. The thinking, I don't want to be stuck in something for 30 years. I don't want to have to take care of something. I don't want to have to mow the grass. Wonk, 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 wonk.
Wonk, wonk, wonk.
You want a car, you got to put gas in it. Guess what? Or else it ain't going to go.
You got to do something.
You have to do something. Your car is going to break down.
Yeah.
That doesn't stop y'all from going out and buying these Chargers and these Challengers and all of these things. It don't stop you.
Hey.
And then you go and park it in front of a rent house that look like crap. Somebody explain that to me, because Nate, I just don't get it.
It don't make sense.
But it's because I tell myself them babies just don't know.
I think it boils down to, because guess what? Everybody gonna see you driving. They ain't gonna see where you sleeping.
Yeah, they gonna see what you're driving. But you know what? If you driving a Benz or some luxury car that you done saved up to buy, and you living in a rental property, you are really you just out there trying to have swag. You ain't really trying to do nothing. Again, feel confident enough in yourself. Drive that hoopty and come home to a nice house.
Yeah.
Can we drop the mic on that? Drive
that 30. Hey, go ahead and drive that 1989 Celebrity.
Hello. And pull up to a house that you are building equity in.
Some flowers in the
And
yard.
don't worry about what people are saying or thinking. I drive my truck is so beat up. I don't care. When I drive around, because they don't know who I am or what I got going on. They don't know.
You can always dog on me, go rent you something nice.
I can go and buy me a car whenever I want. I choose to live the life that I live, but because I made the choice to live in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, where the cost of living is very low, where I bought a house, paid cash for it, fixed it up, I live pretty much debt free. You know, I do not have a mortgage over my head. The car note that I have is a little bit of a joke. The other car I own outright. And so, yeah, people can, why would you live there? Guess what? I travel whenever I want to.
Wherever
I want to.
However.
I'm able to invest in my business and purchase homes and fix them up so that you all can have nice places to live, because I want the best for people. I truly believe that people everywhere deserve the best, but I do not play into this nonsense where people in Pine Bluff are less than or whatever. They are just as awesome, just as amazing, and unfortunately, sometimes they have not been taught things. And I'm okay with sitting down, having coffee with anybody, and talking to them and helping them figure this thing out, because it's solvable.
So how do they get in touch with you? Because it sounds like you got some game for them.
Oh, well, I try to help. So I am on most social media platforms, but there are literally thousands of them. But I'm on Facebook, Angela White Smith .real estate. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Snapchat, although I don't check it that much, but I'm on there.
They can catch up with you.
I'm on the tick of the talk. But I have my own website. It is angelawhitesmith.com. So all of my contact information, all of my pages, go to angelawhitesmith.com. Reach out to me, and I will help you. And it's my joy and my pleasure to help people. Another thing I want to make sure people understand: real estate agents, mortgage brokers, we do not get paid anything until you close on a house. The day that you close is when we get paid. So there are some people who, they're not going to work with you like I am, because they're like, oh my gosh, you got your stuff together. They're just going to push you off. I understand this is a process. I think one of my clients, Desiree, who's probably texting me now, I shouldn't have said her name, sorry. But anyway, she bugs me. This is the one who we signed the house on in the Alizone, but she has a lot of questions. She hasn't done this before. And I was teasing her today, because sometimes I walk to my phone, I'm like, I know who that is. I already know who's calling me. And she'll laugh, Missy Angela. And she got a little question, but you know what? It is my joy to help her, because I know she is changing her life.
And you know what? That's the beauty thing about it. Well, you have to build that rapport. You have to build that relationship, because these are some scary times for a lot of people. There's some people who are buying a home, first-time home buyers. Yeah. Literally are first-time home buyers. Their mama did in their whole family, right?
So they don't have, and that's her situation. She didn't have a mom or dad that she could ask the questions of. And so, yes, it can be intimidating. And sometimes those people are the crabs in the barrels. They're saying, oh, don't do that, whatever.
Yep. And they telling them not to do it, not because they shouldn't do it, but because they really on a slick hate.
They have their own issues. Yep.
So shout out to the young sister who just closed out, who doing her thing. Ooh, baby, hey, this is what we doing for you.
It's a lot of knowledge. You're gonna have to run this one back. Save this one.
Oh, this definitely going on there, baby. Yeah. Shout out to the young lady who just bought our house, baby. We so proud of you, baby. This your boy Big Nate with the Real Underground radio station. Oh, wait, baby. Hey, so Angela, we found out what we need to be doing. Yes. Get your house, get under utilization. Make sure you only owe under 30% of all your credit cards. Yes. All right?
Yep.
First, you need to go to annualcreditreport.com. Right?
You're not paying.
Not paying.
Yep.
Don't let nobody
that say that's charging you on the wrong site.
That $900 a month is not $900. All these other websites.
Credit repair, we ain't paying nobody.
Nah, we off that.
It's free.
Annualcreditreport.com. Excuse me. And we're going to annualcreditreport.com. You're gonna get all your credit cards under 30%. Then You at that 580.
That 580.
That
You live in Pine Bluff?
580.
You live in Pine Bluff?
Oh, wait, baby, you at that 580. You live in Pine Bluff. Hey, you a couple of months out from being a homeowner.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. And we want to help you.
We want to make sure you get.
That's the one thing about the Go Forward program that they did not advertise a lot, and I feel like, honestly, it kicked them in the butts, because if they would have told people that this program, they would have blasted it enough.
Well,
and let you all know.
I'll say this: I don't understand this
Changer.
about a lot of modesty has become our gift and curse.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say that for Biden. I'll say that for anything that where somebody is doing something right. You can tell when somebody is good because they're modest. They're not trying to throw everything in your face. They're mindful. Modesty and mindfulness.
Yeah.
Because on the other side, they ain't modest about nothing.
They
They're
loud
not
and
mindful.
Loud and lying.
Loud and lying.
Yeah.
Think about it. Think about it. They're loud and lying. And when you try to have a decent conversation about the real issues,
They get loud. They get nasty.
oh my God.
You already know that. You already know that energy is bad, and if you that person, stop doing it.
Yeah,
Just
it is
stop
what it is. So modesty has become is the problem, is the issue for a lot of people in our community, man.
Yes.
So I tell people all the time to just be mindful, and we just got to figure this thing out and do what's best for our community, man. Angela, is there anything else you feel like we need to touch base?
You know what? For sure, we talked about Pine Bluff a lot. Obviously, that's where I live. It's where my family's from. I love it. But if you don't want to live in Pine Bluff, or you live somewhere else in the country, you can still contact me. I can give you a referral. I can do some research on agents in your area, people that I trust, and make sure I'm lining you up with somebody who's going to do good by you. So anywhere you live in the country, I can do a referral for you. So get in touch with me. You don't want to work with me, that's fine. Just work with someone.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's something we can be doing to change the game, man. It's all about building wealth. It's all about gaining that wealth so you can get
knowledge.
And knowledge,
and sharing
right.
Sharing this with people, thinking about this, talking to your girls, your boys about this. This is real. This is real, and I get it. When you're in your 20s, sometimes you're not thinking long term. I get it. But the sooner you buy a house, the cheaper your living expenses become. You have that 30 years at a rate that you know what it's going to be. It's not going to change.
I think that's the problem with some people. They just they so afraid.
They're afraid, and they doing what their friends are doing.
Yeah.
And so something I learned very early on in my career, I left my friends. I'm a pauper. My friends are all doing better than me.
Mm-hmm.
My friends, my road dogs, they VPs and this and that. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, look at Angela, she cute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm learning from them. So if you have friends that are dragging you down, you need to trade up on your friends.
Yeah, don't be afraid to march to their own beat of your drums.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to do things differently than what you seen your mama do, than what you seen your dad do. Don't be afraid
your grandmama, your auntie,
your
uncle.
Yes. And if they get to talking down on what you're doing, pray on and let them know, hey man, I think this is what's best for my future, for my children's future. I want to change the game, because guess what? You don't want to lead them with nothing.
And stop getting housing advice from people who have never bought a house.
Right.
Please.
100%.
Please.
And see, some of y'all mama only
My
left
mama
y'all.
said.
Right.
How many
All
houses
your
my
grandma
mama
got to leave you was a dog on me.
It's a bill.
Is
Let's
a
be
bill
for real.
or a rusted dog on me pot. A rusty pot.
And
Her cast iron skillet wasn't even that good.
About her. We love her.
I was just keeping it a buck.
She just didn't know.
Grandma, auntie, whoever didn't have anything to leave you. And now here's an opportunity where you can change the game and leave your child something outside of
or
just
your nieces
that.
and nephews.
Or your nieces
or
and
whomever
nephews.
you choose. You can leave it to UAPB. I mean, you can do whatever you want to on the wheel, but that's a whole different conversation.
Right, that's a whole different conversation. We just want to make sure that and not only just leaving somebody something, building equity so you can start something else.
Or take a trip. You know what? There's nothing wrong. You want to take a trip every year because you saved up and you can pay cash. You want to cruise. That's one thing. When my kids was growing up, I was like, give me a passport.
Yeah.
I've seen, I think, 40 countries. I'll travel.
I'll tell you something else. Even just day-to-day expenses. Imagine you're paying now, instead of paying $1,200 a month rent, you're paying $600 in mortgage. So imagine what you could do with that other $600.
Or if you go from $1,200 rent and you're at a $1,200 mortgage and it's still a little bit of a struggle these first couple years, but you're struggling for you.
Yeah.
If you're struggling to pay rent, you're struggling to help somebody else. Yes, you are getting the benefit of having a roof over your head, but you don't want to struggle to pay rent. You're struggling to pay your mortgage. That's different. It's going towards you.
I'll add to this as well. The other part is now, instead of having your children in a neighborhood that's uncompromising, unforgetting, just unloving, you can move your child to a better neighborhood and grow your babies up in a better area that's conducive to them being better, safer.
Yeah, and you also want to be the example in the neighborhood too.
Yes.
So if you are living in the neighborhood that other people talk about, that's okay. People talk about my neighborhood. I live by the high school. I love my neighborhood.
All right.
I love it. I love my house.
100%. So this your boy Big Nate with the Real Underground Radio Station, man. I am so grateful for you coming on here.
Yes, I'm sorry I could talk about this all night.
And you know
love
what?
it. I love it.
It's a beautiful stuff,
passion,
and that's the thing, man. Find your passion.
Yep.
As you can see how she smiled and been so aggressive and cool with this conversation. Man, listen, we need to make sure that you're doing the same thing.
Yeah,
Man.
because
Find
I really want this for
find
you
it.
all.
I want this for my people too, so I can come borrow a couple of $100,000.
Yeah, we don't loan money.
So I can get my utilization together.
No, you get your utilization together on your own.
It's your boy Big Nate.
Do your own. I'm sorry. Do your outro.
This
I'm not messing you up. Stop loading people money.
Hey, this your boy Big Nate with the Real Underground Radio Station, man. Hey, listen, man. I am so grateful for Miss Angela White Smith coming on here talking with us about home ownership, the ALICE program. Also, before we go, there are also programs for for people with strained credit in Little Rock. So if you need help finding these programs, reach out to me. I got connections all over the state, man, with people who can help you get that game.
And like I said, I can refer you, so we'll get you.
Yeah,
We'll
make sure you got you at home.
If you take the courage to contact us, I'm gonna help you out.
Yeah, we're gonna figure it out for you, baby. But in the meantime, baby, baby, please give me strength. I get a little weak sometime, baby. I need help from you just to see me through. Hey! What? To you I give the glory. On my knees I fall, baby. Oh, wait. Hey! This your boy Big Nate with the Real Underground Radio Station. This is Nate Logic, baby. Oh! I ask for wisdom and understanding. Oh, wait. Let me get some game. Open up my mind. Show me a little something. Oh, wait. I'm trying to get a little game. Oh, wait, baby. Oh. Oh, wait, baby. Hey, I got a space tournament coming up too. Oh, wait, baby. I can't wait to tell y'all about this space tournament with my brother Lee Miller, baby. Oh, wait. On my knees I fall. Oh. It's your boy Big Nate with the Real Underground Radio Station. Oh, wait, baby.